Not yet.
Listening? Oh, am I on? That's what it says.
Your light's not on.
I was only for home.
We're live now.
Okay, there you, now you're on.
Maybe I
Okay.
don't know, that was my understanding. Only I took
Okay,
it for-
meeting adjourned, introductions. We'll start over there.
Taylor Kellum, member at large.
Shirley Torzan Chakurda, member at large and board chair.
Rebecca King, Counselor, Town of Slave Lake.
Bryce Ferguson, counselor for the town of Slave Lake.
And we have a delegate.
Momo Alum.
Okay,
And I am Samantha Dick, the acting director of planning and development.
okay, adoption of agenda. Is there any additions? Okay, so we're going to,
Look
we're
at
going to
me.
take 4A and
Should we do 3A first?
we will go, yeah, we'll go 3A and then we will jump to 5, 6, work our way down.
Yep.
Okay. 3A minutes of August 30th meeting. Is there any
Sorry, I
corrections?
apologize. We didn't have a motion for adopting the agenda.
Oh, okay. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda as presented? Rebecca, call the question. Those in favor? Carried.
Okay.
Minutes of previous meetings, page 3 and 4. Is there any corrections for the August 30th meeting? No. Can I get a motion to adopt those minutes? Taylor, call the question. Those in favor? Carried. And then we're on to number 5. Any business arising from the minutes? No? Okay, on to 6A, page 13, Apex Well Servicing.
Okay, so the purpose of this report is for the MPC to consider a relocatable industrial camp facility, i.e. bunkhouse, which is a discretionary use in the M1 Industrial District. The applicant is Apex Well Services. This will be on 1401 Caribou Trail Northwest, which is an M1 Light Industrial District. I've given you all of the regulations regarding bunkhouses to review, and I'm not going to read them out because it's a lot. Sorry. There is a line in here I'm going to scribble out because it's not applicable. So the proposed bunkhouse is comprised of 2 6-unit sets that are interconnected and will accommodate a maximum of 28 employees. These units are to be placed at the rear of the property behind the industrial building, and as per the site plan, the location of the bunkhouse meets the regulations of the land use bylaw, as well as for separation distances, which is in accordance with the applicable provincial codes. Mr. Broadhead has provided that there will be a 2-meter amenity space, the entire circumference of the bunkhouse, which for this application was required to be 89 square meters, which this more than creates that amount. The parking required is for 1 stall for every potential employee occupying the camp facility, which is 28 parking stalls. And as per the parking plan, the applicant has proposed 33 parking spaces, which is more than enough and more than adequate for this facility. The camp facility will be hooked up to the town utilities within the site. There is a line that runs along the back of that those 3 lots, and they can hook into that, which is all within their property. Once this application has been approved, the planning department will proceed with the required inspections, which includes the fire chief, health inspector, building codes officer, and the development officer, and then occupancy can be permitted after that inspection. This has been referred off to both the health inspector and the fire chief, and to date, I have not received any comments back from them. The planning department has no concerns with this application and recommends that the NPC approve the development of the camp facility.
So Sam, I'm looking at the plan for the actual structure and it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pods.
Yeah.
They will be up against each other.
So yes, there's 6 pods on that plan, and it'll be 2 of them. So it'll end up being 12 pods.
And then they'll have kind of like a pseudo hallway, 2 pseudo hallways through the entire unit? Like, will there be fire doors between them?
There will be, yeah, there's doors in between each of them. And I don't even know if I'd call them hallways because they're just the width of each unit. But essentially that's what they become.
Yeah, because, like, once you add it up, it's 45 meters.
Mm-hmm.
So, but, so the separation between each unit, does that conform to our regulations or to fire code?
I won't speak to fire code because that's not my area of expertise. But like I said, I did send us off to the fire chief and he had no comments. If they want to put two units together and make them into one, we don't care.
Okay.
It's because it's then becomes one unit, not two separate units.
The space around it, the amenities, space, the parking, everything fits our guidelines.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, can I get a motion? Rebecca? Any discussion?
I was just gonna say, I think ideas like this are needed at this time, to get workers into town. Like, there's not a lot of affordable housing available, so, we need options like this.
And
So,
there's no request for variances.
no, and I'm all, yeah,
that's
so
a
I'm all
plus.
for it. It really helps,
Yeah.
this business. So I'll make a motion as read. It's like 3 pages long. So I'll take that motion as read.
And any more discussion? No. Call the question. Those in favor? Carried. Okay, so we have, Julie has joined us, so we are going to move up to 4A.
Could you just please make note in the minutes that I'm declaring a conflict and leaving?
Yeah, thanks, Bryce. 4A, page 5.
Okay, so the purpose of this report is for the NPC to consider an environmental reserve easement for a subdivision with a recommendation from Associated Engineering. This is the previous subdivision that we've already approved. We're just possibly amending the ER requirement. So earlier this year, the MPC approved the subdivision with the provision that the applicant provide a 6-meter environmental reserve on each side of the creek through subdivision. The applicant has since come back asking that the ER be provided as an easement on title. The landowners would still own this property and would be unable to do anything with this in this 6-meter easement on either side of the creek. And as they would still own this, they would still be paying taxes on the 2.3 hectares of land. Secondly, this also means that the easement would move with the creek and the reserve size will never change. As can be seen in the photos attached, the Sawridge Creek has moved continuously throughout the years and will continue to do so. In comments from Jeff Fetter, the purpose of the ER is to protect the natural landscape and buffer any development from creek erosion, migration, and flood. And a hobby farm may meet this intent so long as they do not clear the natural trees from within the 60-meter buffer zone. So his first comment was that he would prefer an ER because that was what he has typically known. He does not typically deal with EREs, but in discussing it with him at the end of the conversation, he can see how an ERE would be a better option for the town because we would have to follow the ASP for the area. In looking at the ASP, which is the South Expansion Area Structure Plan, I provided the maps for 6 and 7 of that. There's only a small corner that even has a possibility of being developed. And so 60 meters on either side of the creek cannot be developed. And so even if the ERE moves or the creek moves, there's a long ways to go for it to make it through to any developable land. And you can see on map 6 that it affects the west side of the creek already, which is why development for the Glory Land subdivision was done the way it is for those 3 lots that are closest to this creek. And then map 7 shows the environmentally sensitive areas and the possible floodplains for the area, which is significant. And so this area was meant for more of a passive use and not for actual development.
So the 60-meter buffer zone, does that move also? So the creek could,
Sorry, I shouldn't say no. It potentially can move, but it's such a broad area,
it's like 180 feet.
right? Like it's a lot. And that's why I said, I was looking at this subdivision map and I actually blew it right up because there's literally the size of less than a dime on the map here that could be developed for a whole quarter section.
So should, he mentions a hobby farm, so would the hobby farm be able to sit within that buffer zone or it would have to be fenced off?
So it would be a matter
We probably
for,
shouldn't be talking about it right now because we're just dealing with
Yeah.
the EREs.
it would be a matter for council because at this point, a hobby farm can't even occur.
Oh, okay.
It has to
Just because of
go,
our.
it has to go
land
to
use
council
bylaw?
for an adoption.
Okay,
So at this point, like I said, there's nothing that can be developed for the majority of this parcel with the low-lying lands and the ASP, which is the area structure plan, requiring that this area be left as an environmental, it doesn't call reserve, it's just an environmentally sensitive area. So then we wouldn't want any of the trees removed. We wouldn't want to disturb the lands in any way in the inside of that 60-meter buffer.
okay.
Does the fence is included in that?
Honestly, people can build fences on their property without permits, so we don't regulate that other than the height of them.
Okay, we have a delegate here. Does somebody have any questions?
I actually don't have a question, but I do appreciate administration and our delegation coming today. I needed that little bit extra time.
Yep.
I got all my questions answered.
Okay.
It's like at this point, it's not about use. It's about the ERE. So I am totally comfortable. I just needed that little bit of time and I appreciate
Yeah, not a problem.
it. I was able to do my homework, so I'm good. Thank you.
So who came up with this ERE option for this property? You did?
I proposed it, yeah.
You proposed it?
It's the more common way of doing it on creeks.
Okay,
I've, in my experience, I've never actually seen ER along those really curvy boundaries. It's always been ERE.
okay.
So just when I saw this, I was the one who flagged it and asked for it to be switched to an ERE.
Mhm.
Good call. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I also went back to, I had spoken with Pat Olansky about this whole situation because this is my first subdivision ever working on. And she says in the Big Lakes County, that's typically how they do it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And we have learned something new, so thank you.
Yes.
Okay, can I get a motion? You made the motion?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and make a motion that the municipal planning commission approves the use of a 6-meter ERE, environmental reserve easement, register and title in place of the required subdivision ERE environmental.
Okay, any more discussion? No, call the question. Those in favor? Carried. Thank you, Mr. Llewellyn.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you.
You may go.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming, Mo.
Yes. Thank you for the
So you need to
education.
go out the entrance one because I didn't open both doors.
For 12 years and I've never seen that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you check that out for us, Sam.
No problem. I apologize. Like I really actually should have brought a report back last time. But it's been a learning curve.
You're only one person.
Yes.
Yeah, so you've kind of fine tuned the comments I'm expecting. I
Mhm.
assume that you've had a healthy discussion with the stakeholders.
I was just going to say, actually, no, the stakeholders have stayed out of this whole thing.
Well,
it has-
you know that like Jeff Fetter and.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Jeff Fetter and I had probably an hour and a half long conversation about this particular
okay,
item. Yeah.
perfect. Okay, we are on to 6B, Karina Gramiak, page 33.
Okay, so the purpose of this report is for the MPC to consider an application for a type E home-based business i.e. Wild Rose Studio within the R1 Standard Detached Residential District. The applicant is Karina Gramiak and the owners are Karina Grant and Arlene Gramiak at Lot 4, Block 9, Plan 6342 HW, 313 3rd Street Northeast. And I've given you the regulations regarding home-based businesses. So in reviewing the application, the applicant wishes to operate the photography studio in her home. I believe it's in the basement of her home, and the goal is to keep it to one client per day. She's stated that all of her equipment and provision of services will be set up and stored in the basement. Once again, only one client per day. She does have a detached garage. However, that use will not extend to that outside building. And currently says that she has no vehicle as part of this business. And so there's 5 on-site parkings for clients, which is more than what she is anticipating. So she's got lots of parking space, and that she will be operating a maximum of 5 hours per day, and that they will only be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That she'll be operating from 9 to 2. And there's no other home-based businesses on this site. And at this time, the proposed home-based business meets with the regulations, and so we have no issues with this. I recommend that you approve it.
Okay. I'll make that motion.
I just have a quick
Yeah, and
clarifying question.
Sure.
She already has a photography business under a different name, so is it a second one or is she just changing names?
I believe she's just changing names.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
so this wasn't approved previously on this property.
No,
Okay.
she moved in, I believe, this spring to this property.
Oh, okay.
She had been previously operating from an office out of the old Husky building on Caribou Trail.
Oh, okay. Okay, any more discussion? Motion on the table, call the question. Those in favor? Carried. 6C, page 44, liquor store limited partnership.
So the purpose of this report is for the MPC to consider the application for an occupying space for retail liquor and renovation of the space at number 461 1500 Main Street Southwest, located on Lot 5, Block 4, Plan 0522448 in the C3 Highway Commercial District. The applicant is Liquor Stores Limited Partnership, and the owners are 50% interest for both Canadian Property Holdings and Crest Point. In the land use bylaw, it states that retail liquor is discretionary underneath the highway commercial, and so must be heard by the MPC. The applicant came to me telling me that they needed a larger commercial space and they wanted to stay within Cornerstone. And so they've been offered a larger space a few doors down from where they currently are. But as this is a discretionary use, I have to bring it to you guys. And so I'm looking at it and there's plenty of parking. There's no issues that I can see. And so I recommend that we approve this. The very end where I call it the Reitmans, because I can't remember the other name of the other one that was there.
They're shifting from here over to here
Yeah.
in the same building.
So I will admit that there's 2 more site plans in here because I received them this afternoon. So I was adding them in.
Okay, then you making the motion?
I was just going to make the motion
Right.
as written here.
Okay, we have a motion on the table. Is there any discussion? No, call the question. Those in favor? Carried.
Right.
7A bylaw regulatory, amend LUB, add hotels to UV, page 55.
So the purpose of this report is for the MPC to, excuse me, to provide council with a recommendation with respect to bylaw 15-2021. And this is to amend section 92.2 of the land use bylaw by adding regulations, until I was in a hurry with respect to adding a hotel use to the C2. I apologize. Yes, to Urban Village. Thank you. This was a really long day when I was writing this report, and I apologize for the mistakes. So Slave Lake Accommodations has gone ahead with the redistricting application for the site, which has been put on hold while we add this use to the urban village so that none of their stuff becomes non-conforming. This was a use that was missed when I was speaking with them with regards to all of the uses that they have on site, as well as their potential uses coming forward. And so Urban Village seemed to work the best for all of the items that we discussed. And the idea behind the Urban Village District was for the creation of a medium density mixed use commercial residential area. And we've seen in more and more spaces, inventive uses by developers to create a balance in the space that they build. There are buildings in other municipalities where there's a hotel that has a certain number of floors with apartments above that. And then the main floor is a mix of commercial spaces on the ground floor. And this mix has seemed to work well, and it promotes a bit of a village atmosphere. And I can't see it not being a benefit to our community.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Question,
Yeah.
actually.
Julie first.
Oh, sorry.
You're on page 55, right?
I'm on page
Yeah.
56, but okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Your proposal says that we're adding regulations with respect to cannabis.
Yes, I did clarify that and said that I made a mistake when I missed that and changed it to adding hotels to the urban village. Yeah.
Rebecca?
Sam, can you just remind me if we have any areas in town what areas in town are currently zoned urban village? Do we have any? Just the
None.
opposite? We don't have any.
No. So in the downtown plan, there was a call for urban village to be the area south of the railroad tracks here on the east side of Main Street, from the railroad tracks down to 6th Avenue. And that's part of the downtown plan as a future endeavor. But at this point in time, there is no districts or plots of land that are zoned as urban village.
All council did was add it to the LD, right?
Yep,
So-
absolutely. Yeah.
So I think
That's been before
the
my time.
original zoo was an urban village atmosphere because they had the bar on the bottom, and then they had rooms and like a hotel scenario, and they had people living there long-term. They had apartments.
Okay.
Yeah, so that goes
Kind of, like-
Yeah.
way back, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a unique situation there. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
it was.
Perfect. Thank you. No, I was just looking to see if we had anything. I'm okay with it.
No.
I can make that
Okay,
motion.
can we
if
get
we're
a
good.
motion?
Yeah, I can make that motion.
Rebecca? Is there any more discussion?
Municipal Planning Commission support bylaw 15/2021.
No discussion, call the question, those in favor? Carried.
Amended, right? Because,
For me?
oh no, I guess, yeah, you're not changing it.
So it would be for what the bylaw states which is the last page of the agenda.
Mhm.
And so it would be basically that section 92(2) would be amended by adding hotels.
Yes.
Okay, proposed subdivisions, nothing, other business? MPC development concerns? Have we received any applications for MPC?
No, I have noted that there was a couple of people that noted on Facebook that they were interested, but I don't think that they've actually
Okay.
applied.
Okay,
I have one question, Shirley.
Mhm.
The development that's currently happening on 12th,
Mhm.
have they met all their condition yet for the SDAB? Has all that been approved?
Their development was approved.
Okay.
And the permit is now good for 18 months.
Okay,
So there'll be some stuff coming forward that they need to address and continue to fulfill the permit. But they have 18 months to do that.
Okay, thanks. I'm just, sorry, I'm sending people your way if they have complaints.
Oh,
My apologies.
you're not the only one. As someone who drives by there daily, the parking in the no parking zone has been a supreme issue.
I'm just continuing to direct people to by law.
Yes.
I was just curious about the
Yes. Well, I was excited to finally see sod. Yeah,
How long do they have to fix the pavement there?
that same amount of time. The same amount of time.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm. I wish it could be less, but unfortunately I don't have that within my power at this time. It is, oh, you know what? Honestly, that is so true because with the park right there, it's like,
It slows people down before they get to the park.
because it's hard on the vehicle. Yeah. I'm just glad it's paved now.
Busy area for kids.
Mm-hmm.
Really busy, and with everyone parking on both sides of the street, you can't see what's going on.
No,
So, yeah,
it's not been fun.
no. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, any more development concerns? Nothing? Next meeting?
October 4th. And I can tell you I have one item already.
If that's it, adjourn. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Sam, for everything. I know you have a lot of your